For over a century, a secret ingredient has lurked in kitchens worldwide, adding a certain to dishes. This culinary chameleon, known as monosodium glutamate or MSG, boasts a rich history. It all began in 1908 when Japanese chemist Kikunae Ikeda experienced a surge of savory deliciousness while slurping a bowl of kombu dashi. Intrigued by this unique taste, he embarked on a mission to isolate its source. Ikeda discovered glutamic acid, an amino acid in kombu seaweed, responsible for this fifth taste, umami. He created a stable form of glutamate, monosodium glutamate, and patented his invention. Thus, MSG was born, transforming the culinary landscape. Initially sold under the brand name Ajinomoto, MSG quickly gained popularity in Japan and spread throughout Asia. From stir-fries to soups, MSG became a staple seasoning. However, MSG's journey to Western kitchens was met with turbulence. Despite its widespread use, MSG faced skepticism and fear in the West. This gave rise to the infamous Chinese restaurant syndrome, linking MSG to adverse reactions. To understand MSG, we must delve into its chemical makeup and natural occurrence. Chemically speaking, MSG is the sodium salt of glutamic acid. Glutamate, in its natural form, is an amino acid found abundantly in both plant and animal proteins. It plays a vital role in various bodily functions, including brain function and metabolism. Nature, it seems, is a big fan of glutamate. Many foods we consume daily contain significant amounts of naturally occurring glutamate. Take a bite of a ripe tomato, savor the sharpness of Parmesan cheese, or relish the earthy aroma of a shiitake mushroom. You are experiencing the power of natural glutamate. Other foods brimming with glutamate include meat, poultry, fish, seafood, and a variety of vegetables like onions, peas, and spinach. Even human breast milk contains glutamate, highlighting its importance in our diet from infancy. The MSG we sprinkle on our food is produced through a fermentation process, similar to how yogurt and cheese are made. This process involves using microorganisms to break down starches or sugars from sources like sugar beets, sugar cane, or corn. The resulting glutamic acid is then neutralized with sodium, forming monosodium glutamate, the flavor enhancer we know as MSG. Contrary to popular belief, MSG's safety profile is well established. Numerous scientific studies and assessments conducted over decades have consistently concluded that MSG is safe for human consumption. These findings are echoed by major regulatory bodies worldwide, including the US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, and Food Standards Australia and New Zealand. The FDA classifies MSG as generally recognized as safe, GRAS, a designation given to food additives with a long history of safe use. Similarly, the EFSA has established an acceptable daily intake, ADI, for MSG, a level considered safe even with lifelong consumption. The EFSA's ADI for MSG is 30 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. To put this into perspective, an average adult weighing 70 kilograms would have an ADI of 2.1 grams of MSG per day. This amount is significantly higher than the typical daily intake of MSG, which is estimated to be around 0.55 grams in the United States and even lower in Europe. The scientific consensus is clear. MSG, when consumed within reasonable limits, poses no significant health risks to the general population. Its safety is backed by rigorous research and endorsed by reputable health organizations worldwide. While MSG is generally safe for most people, a small percentage of individuals may experience short-term mild reactions after consuming large amounts of MSG, particularly on an empty stomach. This phenomenon, often referred to as MSG symptom complex or MSG sensitivity, is characterized by symptoms such as headache, flushing, sweating, numbness or tingling, heart palpitations, chest pain, nausea, and weakness. It's important to note that MSG symptom complex is not a true allergy. Allergic reactions involve the immune system and can be severe, even life-threatening. MSG sensitivity, on the other hand, is believed to be a pharmacological effect, meaning it's a direct response to the substance itself rather than an immune system reaction. Studies investigating MSG sensitivity have yielded mixed results, with some finding no consistent link between MSG consumption and reported symptoms. However, some individuals may have a lower tolerance for MSG and experience symptoms after consuming relatively small amounts. If you suspect you might be sensitive to MSG, it's best to avoid foods containing MSG or consume them in moderation. Pay attention to food labels, as MSG must be listed as an ingredient. Keeping a food diary can also help identify potential triggers. Section 5, Sodium Content, a balancing act for health. MSG often finds itself at the center of another health concern: sodium intake. While MSG does contain sodium, it's important to remember that it's about 1/3 less salty than table salt or sodium chloride. This means you can achieve the same level of savoriness with less sodium by using MSG in place of salt. Reducing sodium intake is crucial for maintaining healthy blood pressure levels, especially for individuals with hypertension or those at risk of heart disease. In this context, MSG can be a valuable tool for flavor enhancement without excessive sodium consumption. However, it's essential to use MSG judiciously, like any other seasoning. While it can contribute to sodium reduction, excessive consumption can still lead to high sodium intake, especially if you're not mindful of overall sodium content in your diet. Reading food labels carefully, choosing low-sodium options, and using herbs, spices, and other flavor enhancers in conjunction with MSG can help you enjoy delicious meals while keeping your sodium intake in check. Section 6, Debunking the Myths, Chinese Restaurant Syndrome, and Other Fallacies. MSG has long been plagued by myths and misinformation, often stemming from cultural biases and a lack of scientific understanding. One of the most pervasive myths is the infamous Chinese restaurant syndrome, a term coined in the 1960s to describe a collection of symptoms some people reported experiencing after eating Chinese food. This anecdotal association between MSG and adverse reactions gained traction despite a lack of scientific evidence. Numerous studies have since debunked this myth, demonstrating no consistent link between MSG consumption and the reported symptoms. Other baseless claims about MSG include allegations of brain damage, addiction, and even cancer. These accusations are not supported by scientific evidence and have been thoroughly debunked by reputable health organizations. It's important to approach food information with a critical eye and rely on credible sources for accurate information. MSG's negative reputation is largely based on unfounded fears and cultural biases, rather than scientific evidence. Section 7. MSG in a balanced diet: tips for mindful consumption. MSG, like any other ingredient, can be part of a balanced and enjoyable diet when used mindfully. Its ability to enhance flavors and reduce sodium intake makes it a valuable tool for home cooks and food manufacturers alike. When incorporating MSG into your cooking, remember that a little goes a long way. Start with a small amount and adjust to taste. MSG works best when added during the cooking process, allowing it to fully integrate with other flavors. Experiment with MSG in different cuisines and dishes. It can add depth to soups, stews, sauces, marinades, and even baked goods. Its savory punch can also elevate the flavor of vegetables, making them more appealing. If you're concerned about MSG sensitivity, start with small amounts and monitor your body's response. Avoid consuming MSG on an empty stomach, as this can increase the likelihood of experiencing symptoms. Choose MSG-containing foods from reputable brands and manufacturers that prioritize quality and transparency. Section 8, the final verdict: embracing umami with awareness. MSG's journey has been fraught with misconceptions and unfounded fears. However, a closer look at the science reveals a different story. MSG is a safe and effective flavor enhancer that can elevate our culinary experiences and even contribute to sodium reduction efforts. By understanding the facts and dispelling the myths, we can approach MSG with a balanced perspective. Embrace the umami, experiment with this versatile ingredient, and enjoy the flavorful possibilities it unlocks in your kitchen. Remember, knowledge is the key to making informed choices about the food we consume.